Johnny Depp, a name that has become synonymous with eccentricity, creativity, and constant transformation in the world of cinema. For many, he will forever be remembered as Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, a character so iconic that it turned into a cultural phenomenon of its own. But if we only focus on Jack Sparrow, we overlook an entire treasure chest of brilliant performances that Depp has gifted us over more than 3 decades. From a young man with scissors for hands in Edward Scissorhands, to an ambitious drug trafficker in Blow, or the vengeful barber in Sweeney Todd, Johnny Depp has showcased a rare versatility. He has never shied away from challenges, never feared controversy, and always dared to dive deep into characters that are strange, tragic, yet endlessly captivating. What makes Depp a phenomenon isn't just the blockbuster movies he has starred in, but the way he transforms each role into a universe of its own. In his performances, the audience doesn't see Johnny Depp anymore. They see living, breathing characters who feel unforgettable and real. In this video, we're taking a journey through Johnny Depp's 10 greatest performances of all time, roles that not only cemented his legacy in cinema history, but also proved why he remains one of the most unique and irreplaceable actors Hollywood has ever known. And trust me, you'll realize that Depp isn't defined by just one Jack Sparrow, but by an entire galaxy of characters that continue to mesmerize audiences worldwide. Before Johnny Depp became Hollywood's master of eccentric characters, he proved his strength in raw, emotional storytelling with What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Released in 1993, this film gave Depp the role of Gilbert, a young man trapped in a small town, burdened with the responsibility of caring for his mentally challenged brother, played by a then-rising Leonardo DiCaprio, and his overweight, housebound mother. What makes this performance so memorable isn't loud theatrics or wild costumes, but its quiet authenticity. Depp embodies the frustration, tenderness, and hidden dreams of Gilbert with remarkable subtlety. He doesn't need grand gestures to pull the audience in. Instead, his tired eyes, restrained body language, and soft-spoken tone make us feel the weight of a man who loves deeply but yearns for more. This was one of the earliest roles that showed critics Depp was far more than just a teenage heartthrob from 21 Jump Street. In fact, it proved that he had the depth and emotional intelligence to lead serious, character-driven dramas. While DiCaprio earned much of the spotlight with his breakthrough performance, Depp's quiet brilliance as Gilbert laid the foundation for the kind of career he would build. One full of unexpected choices and unforgettable characters. When Disney released The Lone Ranger in 2013, audiences weren't quite sure what to expect. The film was ambitious, over the top, and met with mixed reviews. But there was one thing nobody could ignore: Johnny Depp's performance as Tonto. In this reimagining of the classic Western, Depp transformed the traditional sidekick into a quirky, mysterious, and strangely magnetic figure who often stole the spotlight from the titular hero. What makes this role stand out isn't just Depp's trademark eccentricity, but the way he infused Tonto with layers of humor, sadness, and unpredictability. He plays the character almost like a trickster spirit, part guide, part comic relief, part tragic soul, making him far more than just a supporting act. Every gesture, every pause, and every line delivered in his dry, offbeat style reminded audiences why Depp has long been considered a master of unusual roles. Yes, the film itself was controversial and even criticized for cultural appropriation, but Depp's Tonto has since become one of those performances you can't quite forget. Whether you loved it or hated it, it proved once again that Johnny Depp never settles for safe or ordinary. Even in a flawed film, he found a way to create something memorable, bizarre, and undeniably his own. In 1997, Johnny Depp took on one of his most grounded and powerful roles in Donnie Brasco. Based on a true story, the film follows Joseph Pistone, an undercover FBI agent who infiltrates the New York Mafia under the alias Donnie Brasco. What makes this performance so significant is how Depp steps away from his usual eccentricity and delivers a raw, restrained, and deeply human portrayal. Working opposite the legendary Al Pacino, Depp holds his own in a film filled with tension and moral conflict. His character is constantly torn between loyalty to the FBI and the bond he develops with Lefty Ruggiero, Pacino's aging mobster who takes Donnie under his wing. Depp plays this duality masterfully, his calm exterior hiding the emotional storm beneath, as the lines between duty and friendship begin to blur. This role proved to critics that Johnny Depp wasn't just a specialist in quirky or gothic characters. He had the range to carry gritty, realistic dramas as well. Donnie Brasco remains one of his most respected performances, showcasing his ability to embody vulnerability, deception, and moral struggle all at once. It's a reminder that even without makeup, costumes, or fantasy worlds, Johnny Depp could command the screen with pure talent. In 2001, Johnny Depp stepped into the world of crime and excess with Blow, portraying real-life drug trafficker George Jung. This biographical drama chronicles Jung's rise from a small-time dealer to one of the biggest players in the American cocaine trade during the 1972nd and 82nd. For Depp, it was an opportunity to show a different side of his talent. Not eccentric or fantastical, but raw, tragic, and deeply human. What makes his performance so unforgettable is the way he captures George's contradictions. Depp plays him as charming and ambitious, a man who dreams of wealth and freedom, yet constantly sabotages himself with bad choices and broken relationships. There's a vulnerability in Depp's eyes, especially in scenes with his daughter, that cuts through the criminal facade and reveals the lonely, desperate man beneath the empire. Critics praised Blow for Depp's ability to bring depth and emotion to a character who could have easily been reduced to a cliché. Instead, he gave audiences a layered portrait of a man consumed by greed, regret, and longing. It's a performance that proved Johnny Depp could shine not only in fantasy or gothic roles, but also in gritty, real-world stories that demand emotional honesty. By the late 1992nd, Johnny Depp had already become Tim Burton's go-to muse, and their partnership produced one of Depp's most iconic gothic roles, Ichabod Crane in Sleepy Hollow. Released in 1999, the film reimagines Washington Irving's classic tale with Burton's signature dark and fantastical style. At the center of it all is Depp's Ichabod, a quirky, neurotic detective who brings both humor and vulnerability to an otherwise grim story. What makes Depp's performance so memorable is the way he flips the traditional image of a heroic investigator. Instead of a fearless man of action, his Ichabod is awkward, squeamish, and often terrified of the horrors he encounters. Yet despite his fear, there's a relentless determination that drives him to uncover the truth behind the Headless Horseman. This blend of cowardice, intelligence, and hidden bravery gives the character a unique charm that only Depp could pull off. Sleepy Hollow became a gothic cult classic, and Depp's portrayal of Ichabod remains one of his most beloved performances. It showcased his ability to balance dark atmosphere with comedic nuance, proving once again why he thrived in Burton's twisted cinematic worlds. With Ichabod Crane, Depp turned a simple folktale into something haunting, funny, and unforgettable. In 2007, Johnny Depp delivered one of the darkest and most chilling performances of his career in Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Playing the vengeful barber who returns to London to seek retribution, Depp brought a mix of rage, sorrow, and haunting charisma to the role, and he even sang every note himself. What makes this performance so extraordinary is the depth of emotion behind the brutality. Depp Sweeney isn't just a killer. He's a broken man, consumed by grief and injustice. Every glance, every line delivered in his cold, restrained voice reflects years of suffering and a burning desire for revenge. At the same time, there's a tragic vulnerability beneath the surface, reminding us that this monster was once a man who loved and lost everything. The role earned Depp a Golden Globe win and an Academy Award nomination, proving that he could excel in musical theater just as powerfully as he did in drama and fantasy. It's a performance that shocked audiences, blending gothic horror with raw humanity. With Sweeney Todd, Johnny Depp once again redefined himself, not just as a movie star, but as an artist willing to bleed for his craft, both literally and figuratively. When Tim Burton reimagined Lewis Carroll's classic tale Alice in Wonderland in 2010, there was never any doubt about who would bring the Mad Hatter to life. Johnny Depp stepped into the role with his signature eccentricity, creating a character that was whimsical, unsettling, and deeply emotional all at once. Unlike previous portrayals of the Mad Hatter, Depp didn't just play him as a cartoonish oddball. He gave the character a tragic edge, a sense of brokenness behind the madness. His sudden shifts from playful nonsense to quiet sadness, or even bursts of anger, made the Hatter feel like a real, complicated soul. Visually, his wild orange hair, painted face, and piercing eyes were unforgettable. But it was the emotional core Depp brought that truly set this version apart. The film became a box office phenomenon, grossing over $1 billion worldwide, and much of its appeal came from Depp's unique take on the character. Love it or hate it, his Mad Hatter has become a pop culture icon, proving again that Depp has a rare gift, the ability to take even the most fantastical roles and ground them in genuine humanity. In his hands, the Hatter wasn't just mad, he was heartbreakingly real. In 2005, Johnny Depp took on one of his most controversial roles when he reimagined Willy Wonka in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The character had already been immortalized by Gene Wilder in the 1971 classic, so expectations were sky high, and Depp's take shocked audiences. Instead of playing Wonka as a charming, mysterious chocolatier, Depp leaned into strangeness. His version was awkward, soft-spoken, and almost unsettling, with a pale face, strange wig, and peculiar mannerisms. Many viewers were divided. Some found it brilliant, while others thought it was too bizarre. But one thing is certain, it was unforgettable. What makes Depp's Wonka stand out is the way he gave the character a backstory rooted in trauma, explaining his obsession with candy and his aversion to family. Beneath the odd voice and eccentric behavior, there was a loneliness that made Wonka strangely sympathetic. It was another example of Depp's fearless approach, never playing it safe, always willing to risk criticism in order to create something unique. Whether you loved it or hated it, Depp's Willy Wonka has become one of the most talked about roles of his career. It showed once again that he could take even the most whimsical characters and twist them into something haunting, emotional, and unforgettable. If there's one role that cemented Johnny Depp as Hollywood's master of the strange and the beautiful, it's Edward Scissorhands. Released in 1990, this was Depp's first collaboration with director Tim Burton, and it created one of the most iconic characters in modern cinema. As Edward, Depp plays a gentle, artificial man with blades for hands, abandoned in a gothic mansion until he is discovered by a suburban family. What makes this performance extraordinary is how Depp communicates so much emotion with so few words. His large, expressive eyes and delicate gestures tell the story of a man desperate for love and belonging, yet constantly reminded of his differences. Edward is both enchanting and heartbreaking, a figure of innocence trapped in a world that fears him. Depp's vulnerability made audiences fall in love with the character, and the film became a cultural milestone, blending fantasy, romance, and tragedy in a way no one had ever seen before. This role didn't just make Depp a star, it made him an icon. It showed Hollywood and the world that he wasn't interested in being just another leading man. Instead, he was destined to become the actor who could turn misfits into legends and outsiders into heroes. When Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl premiered in 2003, few could have predicted that Johnny Depp's eccentric pirate would become one of the most iconic characters in film history. Captain Jack Sparrow wasn't written as a cultural legend, but Depp transformed him into exactly that. With his slurred speech, flamboyant movements, and mischievous charm, Sparrow felt unlike any hero audiences had ever seen. He was equal parts trickster, rogue, and accidental savior, navigating every situation with wit and sheer unpredictability. Depp famously drew inspiration from rock star Keith Richards, adding swagger and strangeness to create a pirate who was both ridiculous and brilliant at the same time. The result? A role so unforgettable it earned Depp an Academy Award nomination, launched a billion-dollar franchise, and etched Jack Sparrow into pop culture forever. Kids dressed as him, adults quoted him, and the world embraced a pirate who wasn't noble or flawless, but undeniably captivating. Over 5 films, Depp's Sparrow became the beating heart of the series. Even when the plots faltered, his performance carried the franchise. Love him or hate him, Captain Jack Sparrow is the role that defined Johnny Depp's career, proof that his greatest strength lies in bringing to life characters nobody else would dare to imagine. With Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp didn't just play a pirate, he became one. Johnny Depp's career has been anything but ordinary. From quiet dramas like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, to gritty crime films like Donnie Brasco and Blow, to his unforgettable collaborations with Tim Burton in Edward Scissorhands, Sleepy Hollow, and Sweeney Todd, Depp has proven time and again that he refuses to be boxed into one genre or one type of character. What truly sets him apart is his fearless approach to acting. He doesn't just play roles, he disappears into them. Whether it's the haunting innocence of Edward, the unhinged energy of the Mad Hatter, the unsettling quirks of Willy Wonka, or the swaggering brilliance of Captain Jack Sparrow, every performance becomes a world of its own. Love him or criticize him, one thing is certain. Johnny Depp has given us some of the most original, daring, and unforgettable characters in modern cinema. And even now, at 61, his influence is still felt across Hollywood and beyond. His career is a reminder that acting at its best is about risk, transformation, and heart. So now it's your turn. Which Johnny Depp performance is your favorite? Do you agree with our top 10, or would you rank them differently? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through the world of Johnny Depp, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Faded Crowns for more stories about the rise, the fame, and the hidden truths of the stars who shaped our culture.